Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Rahna Farouk.
Hello, good evening and welcome. I'm Nadim Majid. Before we take a look at your headlines tonight, many of those who were heading back home from office this evening were severely inconvenienced due to heavy showers experienced in Colombo. Heavy traffic was also experienced in many areas around Colombo. Kota Road, Prince of Wales Road, Armour Street, Barber Street, the Devi Balika Roundabout and Vijay Rama Road were inundated by the heavy showers.
One person was injured when a tree fell on a parked vehicle on Jinaratana Mawatha.
President expresses his disappointment over the inability of the opposition to name a common candidate. Former chairman of the UPFA Nandana Gunathilaka pledges his conditional support to a common candidate at the upcoming presidential poll. EPF incurs a loss of 10.4 billion rupees on its investments in the Colombo Stock Exchange. Chinese submarines to enter Sri Lankan waters, a revelation made by parliamentarian Sajin Vas. The Capital Maharaja organization wins award under the Best Run ERP Emerging Enterprise category at the SAP ACE 2014 Awards in Mumbai.
And taking a look at your top story tonight, President Mahinda Rajapaksa reiterates that Parliament has been vested with the power to make changes to the Constitution, including on the matter of the executive presidency. The President made this statement at the Harita Udana Farmers Conference held in Kandy yesterday.
This is a time when the opposition runs away regarding the executive presidential system. We appointed a Parliament Select Committee a long time ago to change the Constitution. We have even heard testimony there. Some have come there and testified that the executive presidential system must be abolished immediately. Others say that if the system is abolished, the ghost of the LTTE will arise and the country will be divided. A country cannot progress with an unstable government. Various individuals have come forward and given various testimonies. Although I am the executive president, this must be decided by a two-thirds majority in Parliament. The next step is a referendum. I have given Parliament the power to do this. I used executive powers to free the country, to ensure national security, to protect the country from foreign interferences. The Constitution is not a mere publication. If we try to amend it from month to month, it will become like an annual magazine. It will not be a constitution. This cannot be done. We cannot jest with the country.
Speaking at the occasion of the opening of the Mahinda Rajapaksa Auditorium at the Polgolo National Cooperative Institution last evening, the President expressed the following views.
For democracy to prevail in a country, the opposition must be strong and the leader must come forward to contest the election. By now, they should have found a person to contest. I am saddened that they have been unable to find someone as yet. They accuse me that I took various people over here, but this is like a saloon door and they can come and go. I have stated this very clearly.
In our developing story tonight, former first chairman of the UPFA, Nandana Gunathilaka, has pledged his conditional support to a common candidate at the upcoming presidential poll. The former first chairman of the UPFA convened a media briefing today to explain his reasons for severing ties with the alliance. Gunathilaka had also addressed a letter to the president explaining the reasons for his departure.
If by chance wins the next presidential election, he will take it to mean that the people approve of everything that we are doing. Prior to 2010, he would consult before taking decisions. Prior to 2010, he had to ask Vimal, DEW Gunasekara, Tissa Vitarana or Champika before doing something. Then he started disregarding the other parties. Started acting according to his whim. After 2010, they did use the mountain of money from abroad and the mountain of money earned at home to build roads, bridges, culverts and highways. But on every one of these projects, they embezzled millions. He has allowed this corruption to take place by allowing his henchmen to steal public funds as per their want. It is none other than the executive president of Sri Lanka that is opposed to corruption and bribery being exposed. If you go back to their roots and look at how of all the people who became wealthy post-2010 generated their wealth, you will see that it has all been through racketeering, drugs, casinos and other such vices.
Nandana Gunatilaka also spoke on his future political goals.
We made this president. I have attended 25 electorate meetings in this country. Please forgive me, but I had to lie to bring him into power. We made him, and we are the ones that will work towards sending him home. Let us put forward the most able leader. Let us claim victory and let us free this nation. What I want at the present time is to change the executive presidential system and the electoral system. The commissions that we worked hard to establish have been disenfranchised. They must be empowered to fulfill these ends. I believe that if a person is to come forward from a political party, then they must resign from that party and contest without any party affiliation. No, you, the country and the whole world are aware that there are several candidates.
Now for the full press conference convened by the former first chairman of the UPFA, Nandana Gunatilaka, watch the complete speech right after the primetime news bulletin.
Speaking at an event held in Radhavana, Kirindivale, Minister Mervyn Silva said that he is deeply saddened.
There are those who are jealous and who are pulling me by the leg. It has been 1.5 years since I moved from Kalaniya. That is why I am saddened and disappointed. I was not only pulled by the leg but by my entire body and was cast aside at a time when I could have rendered my services for the Gampaha and Badulla districts. We can show what we are capable of when we are allowed to step out. The day I leave aside these posts, I will come to Dompe without police guard, police bikes and without security. I know it. I also know that I am ready to face this. When we visited Beliata, we did not bring bodyguards. When I was in the village, we did not have security, only friends. It was the same when I was at the CW. In the future, I could walk on the roads without anyone placing my safety in your hands. Minister of Minor Export Crops Promotion, Reginald Correa, says that he is the minister without an inch of land for his ministry.
Even though I am Minister of Agriculture, I do not have an inch of land. Those who were the Minister of Agriculture in the past were also the Minister of Land, Irrigation and Agriculture. It is when you are in charge of all these three that you become a Minister of Agriculture. Now what I have is the export crops. Just like distributing land to foreigners for such crops, there is no more land to distribute. What we have been doing all this time is providing aid and advice for those who have these lands.
The second interim report of the Committee on Public Enterprises, or CORP, was tabled in Parliament today by the chairman of the committee, Senior Minister DEW Gunasekara. Views were expressed regarding 3 loss-making public enterprises.
3 institutions have incurred losses, while the rest have either turned profit-making or increased their profits.
My only concern is, are your recommendations being strictly followed by the respective line ministries? That is the crux of the matter. You are doing all the work and submitting report after report. Second thing, why don't you amend the standing orders in order to bring the press into the committee sessions let the country also know what is happening in your committee.
For the first time, following the submission of COPE reports, they are all referred to the Cabinet. For the first time in the history of our country, COPE reports are examined by Cabinet and necessary instructions are issued. And as I mentioned, for the first time in history, the government sacked the chairman and the general manager of a certain institution on the recommendation of COPE.
On behalf of Parliament, I would like to extend our gratitude to the chairman and the members of the COPE committee for fulfilling their duties efficiently as entrusted to them by Parliament.
Minister of Civil Aviation Priyanka Rajaratne revealed the losses incurred by Sri Lankan and Mihin Airlines Corporation for the year 2013. He made this statement as a response to a question posed by MP Sujiva Senasinghe.
The loss incurred by Sri Lankan Airlines stands at 51,029.6 million rupees. Mihin Lanka incurred a loss of 4,175.2 million rupees. This is from January 2013 to July 2014. 6 A330-300 aeroplanes were sold and leased out. We are anticipating those lease payments will be made.
Honourable Minister, do the people of our country have the wealth to sustain two institutions which have incurred losses amounting to 40 billion rupees?
We are working to a 5-year plan to reduce the losses.
It is about 35 billion this year. It was 29 billion last year, 20 billion the year before that and 5 billion the year before that. So, Minister, the loss has gradually increased. How can you tell the people that you are working to reduce the losses?
The answer to that is, we have had to carry out major repairs on the A340 aircraft in the fleet and fuel costs have increased. We are hoping to purchase aircraft which consume less and mitigate this situation. The losses incurred by Mihin Lanka have actually reduced.
Minister, the people believe that aeroplanes are being brought down for a commission while the institutions are incurring such losses.
Airlines all over the world are making losses. We are taking Sri Lanka's identity abroad.
Children's Subapatham Scholarship.
The 2012 annual report of the Employees Provident Fund reveals that the EPF incurred a loss of 10.4 billion rupees on its investments in the Colombo Stock Exchange. The losses have been mentioned in the Auditor General's observations on the report.
The 2012 annual report of the EPF was tabled in Parliament yesterday. The EPF's total investment in the CSE as at the 16th of December 2013 amounted to 70.5 billion rupees. The report notes that a loss of 14.4 billion rupees had been incurred as a result of the fall in share prices of 64 companies that the fund had invested 50.7 billion rupees in. Furthermore, the report notes that the EPF turned a profit of 4 billion rupees on the 17.8 billion invested in 22 listed companies. Accordingly, the total loss incurred by the EPF on its investments in the stock market stood at 10.4 billion rupees as at the 16th of December 2013.
Unleashing the power of technology can bring tangible business outcomes for enterprise in today's challenging environments. In 2012, the Capital Maharaja organization implemented a management information system that broke barriers in the changing markets. Incidentally, the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited was among the 20 enterprises that were felicitated at the SAP ACE 2014 Awards held in Mumbai recently for achieving business excellence by leveraging the power of SAP technology.
With the ambitious road strategy of the Capital Maharaja Group, it was imperative that the management information system was geared to meet the changing dynamics of the Sri Lankan markets. With this in mind, the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited undertook the bold decision of taking 19 operating companies live on the SAP platform within 9 months from kickoff. This project was named MARS, or Maharaja Resource System. The project was nominated for the SAP ACE Awards 2014 in Mumbai, which saw over 140 project nominations competing across 8 major awards categories. The Capital Maharaja Organization Limited was adjudged the winner of the Best Run ERP Emerging Enterprise category, while its system implementer, Prism, was also honoured at the award ceremony. Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organisation, Ashini Mudalige, accepted the award on behalf of the group.
The Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, as you know, is one of the largest conglomerates in the country, running a lot of diverse businesses, each run independently and hence delegated authority levels at various levels. And it's important for us to have systems and processes in place so that businesses run efficiently, controlled with good governance. As an ongoing exercise to improve our processes, some time back we looked at various ERP solutions available worldwide and found that the most suited solution was SAP, but it required a lot of investment and a lot of courage to do such an exercise at one go. We believe that the success that we have achieved now in getting this very coveted award is a true reflection of the tremendous input, intellect of our total teams. They've always been on the ball. The organization has always been ahead, and they've helped us to ensure that we win this award. So it's a tremendous sense of satisfaction at achieving the goal of being considered one of the best in an array of a whole lot of leading lights of corporate world.
Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, Ashini Mudalige, elaborated on the Big Bang approach.
Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited has actually put Sri Lanka on the global map. It required a lot of planning, execution, but most of all, it required a lot of passion. And that is what all our team members had. We wanted to go for the Big Bang approach. We implemented 19 companies, 9 modules in 9 months. That's a very short time frame. That was done successfully. We had challenges, but we had timely decisions. There was a lot of top management support. The board members got involved. They were hands-on. In fact, I would like to dedicate this to the entire Maharaja team who made Sri Lanka proud.
SAP Sri Lanka also played a key role in this process.
We strive to make sure that every business which we side or partner with runs best, is the best in that industry, is the best in their respective area of work. And that is why this award for the Capital Maharaja Organisation is very significant. One, because of the sheer magnitude of the project itself, the size of the project. Doing 19 companies with 9 modules is no easy feat, and that's something the Capital Maharaja Organisation pulled off. We didn't have any doubt at the start itself about your ability to do this, but when we started off, we were a bit skeptical about whether a company which has absolutely no experience in SAP beforehand could be able to pull this off. But we are very proud to say that the Capital Maharaja Organisation came through with flying colours and have made SAP and SAP operations in Sri Lanka stand out because of the sheer magnitude of this win. If you were to put things into perspective, the largest Big Bang approach ever in SAP India was the company called Mahindra & Mahindra in India, which went for a project called Project Harmony and had 50 companies going live in one Big Bang approach. And I'm proud to say that this is the second largest Big Bang approach we have seen in this part of the world, of 19 companies going live in one Big Bang approach.
If you don't have the right people to do that, that is the biggest risk actually. So at Maharaja we had the right people, so that risk was eliminated, so we didn't have any problem on that. When it comes to implementation, successful implementation, finding the right implementer is a very key thing. And we screened a lot of implementers available right across, and finally we selected Prism Informatics, and they were working hand in hand with us, and I think that was another key success factor where we selected the right partner.
SAP ACE Awards recognize the cutting-edge work that enterprises have undertaken to deliver game-changing innovation while adding value to their business.
The expenditure heads of the Ministry of External Affairs were taken up in Parliament today.
In the past, we used to ask the children aspiring to be ambassadors if they knew English, French and German. Now we need to ask them if they know judo to defend themselves when they are ambassadors. Today, any country can come to a Sri Lankan port, obtain our services and depart. A Chinese submarine was here recently. A Korean naval ship was here recently. Indian ships too come here, and our transactions with India are continuing. That does not mean we are betraying our country. There is some sort of agreement between His Excellency the President and Prime Minister Modi. There is no problem. The only difference in our foreign policy is that we deal with all countries on the same level. Our true policy should be a strategic mechanism to face the foreign interventions into our country. The Honourable Minister mentioned the EU court decision. He said that it was not a court in our country, and if we had intervened, it would have affected our sovereignty. Look into who it was that filed the case. Was it a relative of KP? That will reveal the roots of the case.
අන්න එතනින් එනවා ප්‍රශ්නේ ඇත්ත මුල. එතන මේක මේ කොටි හදපු වාර්තාවක් නෙමෙයි. කොටි ඩයස්පෝරාව හදපු වාර්තාවක් නෙමෙයි. පරදේශක්කාරයෝ හදපු වාර්තාවක් නෙමෙයි.
So this is not a report that was compiled by the Tigers. This is not a report that was compiled by the Tigers diaspora. This is not a report that was created by those in other lands and imperialists. This report was compiled by a group of government officials. What does this report say? It says that when the audit was being carried out, individuals named Jauhar and Thamzila continued to obstruct the audit from being carried out. This is not being said by the opposition. This is being said by a group of officers who were appointed by you. I will submit this report to the Hansard. Why are you not conducting a proper investigation on this matter? Why are you providing a safe haven to those who committed this wrong?
මේ ප්‍රශ්නය පිළිබඳව ඇයි ඔබතුමන්ලා විධිමත් පරීක්ෂණ නොකරන්නේ? ඇයි ඔබතුමන්ලා මේ වරද ක්‍රියාත්මක කරපු අයට රැකවරණය ලබා දෙන්නේ?
ඔහුගේ කාලය පුරාම මේ කොන්ත්‍රාත්තුව සම්බන්ධව වර්තමාන ලේකම්තුම ශේනුකා.
In the recent past, it was the Foreign Secretary Shenuka Seniratna that was the target of allegations raised in connection with this report. I wish to note that the contract in question was signed before she assumed duties in that office. Also, Honourable Deputy Speaker, that government has stated clearly that the individual known as Ture Raja is not connected to the LTTE.
පැහැදිලිව තුරේ රාජා කියන මහත්මයා ඒ රජය කියන LTTE සංවිධානය නෙවෙයි කියලා.
ලෝකේ ඊටමත් කීර්තිමත් නායකයන් පෙළ ගැහිලා පෙරහැරක් වගේ අපේ රටට පැමිණීම.
One of the most renowned world leaders arrived in the country. He will not be able to do anything by having Sri Lanka and China in the same pot. The relationship with China did not take place recently. India, the Maldives and Sri Lanka have joined forces to implement a program to protect the marine life in the respective areas. We have a sound relationship with India. Russian and Japanese vessels arrive here.
Up next is Action TV.
Government and opposition members of the Uhana Pradesh Sabha cast aside party divisions yesterday to commemorate the establishment of the Gal Oya Development Scheme, a brainchild of D.S. Naika, with the unveiling of a statue of the first Prime Minister. A plot of land that was left alone owing to foresight more than half a century ago when the Gal Oya scheme was established, which at present is being bulldozed, was the basis for this commemoration. The plot of land located between the Karangawa Public Cemetery and the Sumanabadha Vihara on the Ampara Kandy Main Road is landlocked by the Gal Oya North Eastern Sanctuary and the Buddhankara Sanctuary. The plot of land is one of 5 main elephant crossings in the Ampara district. While this 5-acre plot of land is not to be touched under the Gal Oya scheme, it is known by the locals as Alikanda. In the first few months of 2013, Alikanda was transformed into a car park parallel to the Datakirula National Development Exhibition. While elephants resumed their habitual crossings across this plot of land following the Dayatikehuli exhibition, it was made evident at the Uhana Pradesh Sabha meeting yesterday that the land is not being bulldozed at present for the benefit of the elephants. It is possible that the Paddy Marketing Board and the District Secretary have forgotten the elephant attack on a paddy storage facility in Palam Kandaura, Ampara in May 2012. If a paddy storage facility is being constructed on this plot of land in order to refresh their memories, motorists using the Ampara-Kandy main road and the people living in the environs of Karangawa and Samanbadda will be forced to learn some unforgettable lessons. This is where elephants cross from the Galloya sanctuary into the Buddhangala sanctuary. By constructing a paddy storage facility here, they are wishing death upon people using the road and the people living in Karangawa. So we inform the authorities that we are not opposed to the construction of a paddy storage facility. We only ask that they establish it in a more suitable location. Is it suitable to use the massive amount of funding provided by the World Bank for the construction of a major paddy storage facility in Ampara to close off an elephant crossing? Secretary to the Ministry of Finance and Planning, this is over to you.
People who were evacuated from the landslide-prone Mediabad area in Koslanda continue to be housed at temporary shelters. Security Forces Commander Central, Major General Manu Pereira, says that a decision on the future course of action will be taken following the report issued by the National Building Research Organisation, citing the safety of the location.
Residents of Mediabad, the Koslanda, were evacuated following an advisory of a possible landslide. Major General Manu Pereira said that 487 persons of 136 families continue to remain at the temporary shelters provided at the Koslanda Ganesha Tamil College due to the impending landslides in Mediabad, the Koslanda.
The water stream that emerged following the landslide was diverted towards our land. We were afraid that the water would flood our houses along with the rain. When people started running, we had to carry our children and run. We were sent to our houses the day before yesterday. Afterwards, there was a threat of landslides and we were asked to go to a church in Koslanda. And then we were asked to stay at the same place where we first took refuge, that is the Koslanda Tamil College.
R.H. Bandara, head of the landslide unit of the National Building Research Organisation, says that the area is already being inspected by NBR officials.
The Archbishop's House in Colombo has confirmed that Pope Francis will visit Sri Lanka in January next year. In an official release, the Archbishop's House stated that the Pope will arrive in Sri Lanka on the 13th of January 2015. Newsfirst contacted Reverend Father Cyril Gamni Fernando for more details.
Vatican has released the official schedule of the apostolic journey of His Holiness Pope Francis to Sri Lanka. When the Vatican releases the official schedule, that means Pope is certainly coming to the country. So he will be here on the 13th January 2015 by the state in the airport, and then after that he will leave the airport to Colombo in an open vehicle. On Wednesday, January 14, 8:30 a.m. is the most important event of his whole journey at the Galway Green in Colombo. The Holy Father will celebrate the Holy Eucharist, and also there will be the canonization of Blessed Joseph. And then at 2 o'clock on the 14th January, he will depart to Madhu Shrine.
The theme of World Diabetes Day 2014 is Diabetes, Protect Our Future. The International Diabetes Federation states that diabetes is among the top 5 global threats.
There are 387 million persons who suffer from diabetes. Medical reports indicate that 1 out of every 12 persons suffer from diabetes. It is alarming to know that every 7 seconds one person dies due to this disease. Another cause of concern is the fact that 1 out of every 2 persons are unaware that they suffer from diabetes. Patients who suffer from diabetes collectively spend $550 billion on medicines to keep diabetes under control. The National Diabetes Society say that 1 in every 5 persons suffer from diabetes in Sri Lanka. The most number of persons suffering from diabetes are from the Western province, whilst the lowest number of diabetic cases are recorded from the Uva province. One of the main causes of diabetes is the individual's eating habits.
Alistair Cook, the captain of the England cricket team, convened a media briefing in London today ahead of his team's departure to Sri Lanka, where they are scheduled to play a 7-match ODI series. Reporting from London, Newsfirst Bureau Chief Vijitha Alice brings us the latest on the views expressed by Cook.
Well, it's a cold, wet and typically English day here at Lord's in London, so no doubt Captain Alistair Cook and his England side will be looking forward to travelling to warm and sunny Sri Lanka this weekend, but there'll be far more reasons for them to be looking forward to taking that flight on Sunday night. Alistair Cook looked rested and relaxed as he came into Lord's this morning, something that can't be said about Angelo Matthews, who described yesterday's defeat to India as an embarrassment, very generously so as well. But many here, including a lot of England fans, the Barmy Army, feel that there are a lot of scores for England to settle out in Sri Lanka. It was an often acrimonious tour by Sri Lanka here during the summer. One fan at Headingley told me that the Sri Lankan team's celebrations after that nail-biting finish in the second test were inappropriate for the cricket field. So what more for an England side than to meet a slightly demoralised Sri Lankan team out in Colombo? Let's hear what Alistair Cook has to say.
We all know it's going to be it's a really hard place to go and win one-day cricket. I think England have won one series in Sri Lanka. I think that was in 2008. So we know the challenge ahead of us. We've got 7 matches as well, so that's quite a long series. So to win that series, we're going to have to play some very consistent cricket as well, so, something which we haven't always done in the past in one-day cricket. But you know, we've had the last couple of weeks together as a team, and we're really excited about that challenge to go out to Sri Lanka and really test ourselves. And we know what the prize at the end of that is. A place in the World Cup in Australia.
And so it seems that the England media and the England cricket captain still obsessed over the controversial book by former England batsman Kevin Pietersen, and of course the upcoming World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, apparently telling us that they haven't given too much thought to the Sri Lanka tour. So some good news for Angelo Matthews and his side. This is Vijitha Alice for News First at Lord's.
Well, that report was filed by our Bureau Chief in London, Vijitha Alice. Now, in other cricket news, in an explosive revelation, the Indian Supreme Court disclosed today that former BCCI President and current ICC Chairman N. Srinivasan and his son-in-law, Gurunath Meyyappan, are among those under probe in the IPL spot-fixing case. According to Indian media reports, IPL team Rajasthan Royals co-owner Raj Kundra and Sundar Raman, the chief operating officer of the cash-rich tournament too, are under investigation.
A special bench of the Indian Supreme Court comprising Justice T.S. Thakur and F.M. Kalifulla revealed the names during a hearing that lasted 20 minutes and said that it would make the Mudgal report available to lawyers on both sides so that they can make their arguments when the next hearing takes place on the 24th of November. The court said it had received the Mudgal committee investigation report submitted in early November, and the findings recorded by committee are understood to have indicted some individuals whose conduct has been investigated. The report was presented in 2 parts, one of which featured players and the other which was made up of what Justice Thakur termed non-playing actors in the drama. The court issued notices to Srinivasan, Meyyappan, Kundra and Raman for misdemeanors.
Cricket is the gentleman's game, and we know that many people have made major sacrifices in the past to uphold its spirit. In such a backdrop, the involvement of the ICC chairman N. Srinivasan in corrupt dealings is truly saddening. I do not need to mention that when the position of ICC chairman is involved in corrupt dealings, it directly affects the future of the sport. At the same time, what guarantee do we have that such persons will work to uphold the spirit of the game?
And that was a look at your primetime news bulletin. We end the news tonight with some gripping footage of a rescue operation in the Logi estate in Lindula, Paluakali.
The rescuers worked for close to 30 minutes to free a man who was trapped while laying the foundation stone for a home. For the News First team, I'm Rahna Farooq.
And I'm Nadim Majid. Good night and good luck.